22nd of May and it's snowing.
You're John. I'm Dave.
It's a nice and sunny day.
Muhammad Ali.
He's got a heart made of yellow barley straw.
So you have some comments on what's happening in Fort Capel today?
Yeah, I'm leaving town because driving this truck where there's 5,000 policemen in town, I gotta use the back alleys to go home. I'll tell them the dog was driving.
And notice you have your seatbelt fastened though.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's just safe in the traffic. That's good. That's good. Glad to hear that.
I'm glad to see you're all shined up.
I know. I clean up pretty good. Somebody told me already.
I'm going home. Me and the dog are going home.
Oh, she's not impressed.
Goodbye.
Okay, drive through by the cop somewhere. That'll be a great shot.
Go on, go.
Keep them down until the end of O Canada. Or just tap
Yeah,
them.
that's it. Okay. Hold your flag down, please, until we're finished singing. Down at your side so we can't see it. For you. No, I'm talking to Tyler.
One of all the kids already, I suppose, yeah? Oh, and here she goes. As the traffic arrives, the motorcade pulls up. There's a lead Chevy Impala, followed by a black Lincoln Continental. So Merv Brown isn't the only guy in town with a Lincoln Continental. There's another one. Fort Capel Elementary Choir under the direction of Vice Principal Don Jewett sang our national anthem. Mayor and Mrs. Osika, greet Her Excellency, and color party with other Legionnaires and Fort Capel Sea Cadets. Excellency, how's the traffic?
My God, there's something happening here. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but look at the traffic. Is it me?
It seems to be going one direction, for sure.
But it's great to be walking like this and have a hug.
Yes. Okay.
Nice meeting
Thank you.
you.
And welcome to the Valley. Traffic will continue to move down Main Street in front of the historic Hudson Bay store. Traffic moving by. And here we are, the entourage is arriving at Off-Broadway Bistro where they'll be going in for lunch. And traffic returns to normal on the street. Here comes Fred Hudell with a truckload of stuff turning down the back alley. So, oh, no, Fred, General Bull Moose to his friends is heading down the road. We'll see if we can get a rave from Fred. There we go. And Dean Desjardins, Fred's right-hand man. And that's the traffic for now. Lynn Anderson signing off in Fort Capel.
I run the auto wrecking on Standing Buffalo. So I fix cars, and this truck is a legend. It came from my wife's late uncle. He passed away. Yeah, his name was Archie Goodwill. And when the estate decided to sell it out, and I bought it, and I tried to keep it in the family. It's falling apart, but slowly I'm fixing it up.
Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Dave.
And we're the Hardware Guys.
If I was to go back to any time, I would like to go back to when I was maybe in my early to mid-20s when my kids were babies. Because of work, I was usually not at home. And there were many times I missed, when they were growing up that I should have been there or could have been there, and I chose to work instead. And those are times that you never get back, and so now I cherish all the times that I get to spend with my kids.
Myself, is there anywhere I want to go back to? No. I'm absolutely happy right here. I know I don't want to go ahead. I don't want to go back. I like the area that we're living in. I am worried about the future. I learned from the past. But man, oh man, same thing. I think it's what you make of it kind of thing. And so this is where I want to be. Bye.
I was an engineering student. I went to the Canada Employment Center for Students and applied for a job, and a company called Torchinsky Engineering. We're hiring engineering students, and by the time I got home I had a phone call to go for a job interview, and I went in that afternoon. The next day I was working, and I've been working there ever since. I work for a company called AMEC Infrastructure, and we're just surveying the road down to the ferry because they want to rebuild it. It's quite a steep grade going down, as you'll find out as you go further down, and in wintertime it gets pretty slippery with the ice and everything, and they want to flatten that out a bit. We go from what's called the right-of-way to one edge of the right-of-way to the other edge, so we go from basically the top of the back slope through the ditches across the road, and then the same on the other side of the road. You still have to know the basic math and geometry and trigonometry that you knew before. I still use my transit at my level. And I used it on this project actually to do the alignment. And so what I did yesterday was set up in the middle of the road, measured in some points, and just kind of checked to make sure I was splitting the road exactly. And then for the curve, they want the curve to stay where it was, so I set up at the point of intersection of the two center lines, measured over a distance, and then used that distance to calculate what the curve had to be. I could have done it with GPS if I wanted to, but I prefer doing it what I call the old-fashioned way, just to check and make sure things are going to work out. And we just started using GPS this year, so you know, as time goes on, I'll probably be using the transit level a lot less. But the amount of accuracy with GPS now is amazing. We just a 1 second rapid shot, you can get accuracy down to millimeters. Today my job is to lath up the line. I'm letting the rodman do all the GPS work. I could do it myself too, but we switch off. I drive quite a bit. I average about 2,000 kilometers a week. Or, well, some months about 10,000 a month. Now I take winters off. I used to work year-round, but I put in so many hours for about 9 months of the year that I need a long holiday, and I hibernate in the wintertime. In about 2001, Highways wanted us to survey down by Minton, Saskatchewan, and by the time we got down there, there was 6 feet of drifted snow in the ditches. So we had to use ice augers to drill holes to put our rods in to get the shots. But the good news is we could stand on top of the drifts, they were so hard. There's all sorts of cacti and gopher holes and badger holes and rabbit holes. You just have to, after 30 years, you sort of get a feel for how fast you can get away with. When you see a big orange sign, and it could be a guy with a shovel or it could be a guy bending over looking through an instrument, it means the same thing. You're in an orange zone, the maximum speed is 60 kilometers per hour, and if the conditions warrant, even slower than that. Yeah, you would think my favorite color was orange. I've got a lot of high-vis wear. Now I'm out of lath, so I have to head back to the truck.
I remember the first house we ever owned. It was an old house, and it was all lath and plaster. You're familiar with that lath and plaster?
Yeah.
It looked pretty good to me. You know, there was the odd crack in it. It didn't look that bad. And anyway, after we'd lived in there for a while, we went out one evening. We came home, and this whole ceiling had fallen down, lath and plaster. And you talk about a mess.
Oh yeah.
Oh. The dust, just unreal. So that was my experience with
some of those old houses that they put that rock wool insulation in them when they could, and then when that let go, what a mess. Man, oh man.
My house lath and plaster. So when I renovated, took some walls I have over the years. The thing that amazes me is those plasterers helpers must have had legs on them like elephants, because there's a hell of a bunch of weight in that plaster. And those guys who trucked all that sand up the stairs or all that mortar up the stairs, they must have been just running full time for those plasterers.
There was an old fellow that lived where we lived at Assiniboia. He was a plasterer. And I remember doing our neighbor's house down the road, and that was in about 45, 46, something like that. And he was amazing. He had these 2 trowels, He'd throw mud on this one, you'd pick the mud and throw it on here.
big
and he'd strike like this, then he'd go like this, and like this. And that, you wouldn't believe it when you got, it was just so, and it was so beautiful, so smooth.
And they'd hold their trowel out, and if the mud wasn't there, they'd be hollering at that.
More mud.
For a kid who was running up and down the stairs.
So how do you plaster a ceiling?
It's the same way. Throw her up there and work it in.
The mud guy had a hell of a lot to do with it too. The mud guy, the mud man knew what he was doing.
Well, if he didn't, that guy told him it's not right yet.
Seen Helmet and Harry Aaron laying bricks, and that's the same way. They just, and if the mud's not right, they're just throwing it on the ground and hollering at the guy. You know.
I knew 2 gentlemen, one at Watrous, and he'd moved into a house that just had a hole in the ground.
Like a cellar, like.
Yeah. And after work, he was a mechanic. After work, he'd go home, 2 pails down the basement, fill the pails, carry them outside, dump them. And he dug his whole basement that way. And another chap that I knew, you'll say, again after this, he built the house on a foundation, surface foundation. And then dug the basement, 2 pails at a time.
The first pail would be worse than the last, you know. You think, God, how many more pails have I got to go?
Can you imagine, you build the house first and living in it, then you dig the basement.
With 2 pails.
With 2 pails.
But a lot of
How long did it take them?
Oh, it took them quite a while.
But what did he
It took
do?
them longer than a year.
Yeah, did he form it up and then just pour walls underneath it, or?
Yeah, he formed it up
That's what
after.
they did, yeah.
Afterwards,
Yeah,
eh?
and poured
Once they got it
yeah.
big enough, size enough.
Where did we park? Oh, yeah, I see it.
They look nice too. 10 cents. So how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, a dozen.
So $1.20
For that whole box.
Hillary, how much for the whole box? There's 12.
$5. No.
Huh? No, there's 12 in here at 10 cents.
Well, that's a bargain.
Yeah, right. It's $1.20, not $5. A buck? Okay, I'll take those for my new building.
Bought myself a measuring tape. I probably have about 6 or 8 of them, but I can never find them when I want to, so.
Hi, I'm Ann Davis, and you're in my kitchen today. Always wash your hands before you start doing anything in the kitchen. We're going to make what we call square cookies today. There's usually enough left in them always. I just fold them up and put them in the fridge. And, you know, that old waste not, want not thing. I'm putting half a cup of sugar in here. This is the marge that we softened in the microwave. And I'm mixing the sugar and the marge until it's creamed, we call it. You know, the consistency sort of a whipped cream. That calls for beaten egg, so I'm putting it in a little bowl. For 1 egg, a little small beater is all you need. Just make sure all your yolk is dissolved. Get it all in there. 1/4 of a cup of margarine, half a cup of sugar, and 1 egg beaten. It's a byproduct from the sugar factories, from the cane. The easiest way to finish this off is just to take a knife. There now, I've mixed the molasses in and it's really nice and smooth. Now I'm going to dissolve a 1/4 teaspoon of soda in here. You should always dissolve it in your batter, not mix it in. So often they say mix it in with your flour, but you should put it in your batter. Preheat the oven to 375. So I've got my cup of raisins, and I'm going to cover them with warm water and let them sit for a little bit. Then I'll rinse them through a colander. I'm going to mix my dry ingredients in this other bowl. I'm going to put 2 cups of flour in there, and if you scoop it like this, it won't pack. And then you level it off. And I need 2 cups. Add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I want some baking powder. And I like to buy the dates that are single like this, you know. My mother made this a lot, often in the winter when there were really cold days. She'd have them ready when we came back from school. We've got everything in, I hope. Coat the raisins and dates with this before we mix it in, and then they will not sink to the bottom. I just sort of coat them with this flour first. Can you see that? Then we mix it all together, make sure it's all blended. Aren't scrapers wonderful things? When we were kids, there weren't scrapers, and there was usually an argument of who was getting the bowl to lick. I'm going to spread this with what you call a spatula. It's pretty flexible. We always call them square cookies. Depends whether you cut it in a bar shape or a square, I guess. And put your pan, same with cookies, a center rack, and put your light on while they're baking. They'll brown better. My time that I have on my book is 20 minutes, but I'm putting 16 on. I like to check it a bit before. So that's it for today.
It's nice. It took the studs out, so I think it's over. If it does snow, it's not going to last long. I think I cursed it now. It probably will snow tomorrow. No, I think we're good. We're good, yeah. Dizzy anyways.